Hey guys, my name is Carl and I go by Strike Mods, and if you're here for keyboard content, I'm your guy. Today we're going to be checking out the Chillkey ND75, and we're going to be talking about how good it is for the next few minutes. After a few weeks of waiting and an unfortunate mishap with FedEx, we finally got some good hours in with this keyboard. They also sent these Wuche Studio Sunset PBT keycaps, and their own Wuche Studio Palm Plus switches, which are very smooth to go with the board. More on that later. Here we have the Chillkey ND75. And I guess that means not defined. The unboxing experience is straightforward and simple. Upon opening, you have the keyboard itself and accessories hidden in a small box. The keyboard itself comes in the 75% form factor. As mentioned in its name, comes with tri-mode connectivity, and the kicker, the LCD screen, which I'll walk you through how to work around with later on the video. A year ago, LCD screens have only been available on keyboards with a premium price range. The Matrix Corsa for one, and Wuche Studio's very own Zoom 75 that came with a $200 price tag. Personally, other than for flexing purposes, I don't really care much for it, but undeniably it's what separates it from other keyboards in a similar price range. It's already built out of the box, with plate mount stabilizers that are... Here's a close-up of what the stabilizers look like. The factory looping is a bit inconsistent, but at least they tried. Plus, the stabilizers are badly tuned. They are badly tuned. The Chillkey ND75 comes in either bare bones, which is what we're working with, and pre-built with a little bit higher of a price tag. Before we build the board though, here's the Wuche Studio Sunset PBT keycaps. Listed on the screen are all of the specifications you'd need, but I'll give my thoughts on it later on. These Wuche Studio Palm Plus switches, as I mentioned earlier, are very smooth. They're manufactured by Gatoron, there's no spring crunch, and they sound consistent all throughout because it's full travel and the color, which reminds me very much of the HMXIs and the V2Us, but they sound deeper. Let's mount these switches on the ND75 and the Wuche Studio keycap set and hear how it sounds out of the box. I spent a good while with this keyboard. Used it for regular browsing, typing, and gaming too. The typing angle was just as comfortable, and the latency didn't show any signs of delay through its 2.4 GHz connection. There was no weird stuttering or any inconsistencies when I was playing Valorant paired with my wireless Pulsar X2. Bluetooth was okay. Like every other keyboard I've tried to pair with, pairing it needed a little bit of extra patience, but eventually it worked fine on my MacBook with no visible latency issues or delays. The Chillkey ND75 has a screwless design, which makes it easier to take apart and tweak the internals quick and easy, but it comes with a twist. Basically, it lets you take it apart that fast, but not really. And to me, here's the funny part. Once you lift the PCB, there's another ribbon cable attached to a magnet, which brings the question, just why? Also, another caveat is upon lifting the top case, the ball catch thingy scrapes on the inside of the top case. This is due to this part right here making contact every time you lift it. You can just manually swap the amount, but I haven't tried it myself. Do it at your own risk. I also tried to check what was underneath the back weight design, but I was met with a bit of a hassle removing the screws. It seems that they were already rounded. Initially, I gave up on trying to look beneath this, but later on, I opted for a small flathead bit that seemed to bite onto the screw. I used this all throughout the rest of the build since the screws for the other mount and the keyboard was giving me trouble. The foams weren't exactly to rave about too. The bottom foam was stuck to the PCB and gave me no chance of removing it. So I just tried to dismantle the keyboard the brute force way since I was too lazy, which you should never do. And apparently there were screws holding the plate to the PCB. Removed those and went my way about. What was in this PCB assembly surprisingly reveals a 1.6mm non-flex cut PCB. P.S. I didn't check the website prior to reviewing this keyboard, so I didn't know. On top of it is the transparent PET film, which showed up on keyboards for some reason, the IXPE sheet or the PE foam, the Poron plate foam, and finally the stock PC plate. The Chillkey ND75's mounting comes in what they call O-ring mount by default. But according to their website, it can be top mounted. Or silica gel particle mounted. Honestly, my most favorite one had to be top mount. It offered a different flavor compared to the other keyboards available in this price range, since realistically all of them are just variations of gasket mounts. The only thing is, the screws holding the plate together isn't as strong, and if you try pushing down to test the flex, the screws just comes off. And yes, even with top mount, there's a bit of flex, unlike most top mount boards, which has none. The silica gel mount I felt like was very similar to the default one. It was more pingy as compared to split O-ring, but sound wise it's a minor difference you wouldn't be able to tell at all in person unless you're Charlie Puth. Overall, top mount is the way to go. The Chillkey ND75 is in stock in 4 different colors right now. You can get it through this website or through some of your local online shopping websites, but always opt to buy from trusted vendors for after sales support. To sum it up, I would say that the Chillkey ND75 is well worth your money and an even more solid investment that'll last you a few months before another great keyboard comes out because you can't manage your finances well. Subscribe.